Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein here with this week's installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by MEOR DC, MEORDC.org. That's our website. Or find us on Facebook and like us and be in touch with us. I missed last week, and I had the intention to do a video, and I delayed a little bit, put it off, and one thing led to another, and 1 hour blended into another, and it was over, and I missed the chance. And I felt bad about it. I made myself feel better by saying, hey, there's a lot going on in life. There was in my life, there is in all of our lives. That's how I consoled myself. But the truth is, there's a really important lesson here that is expressed in the title of this week's Rabbi E in 3. If not now, never. It's a very strong, powerful message. I hope it won't depress me or us, but it's important to speak out. If not now, never. I'm not talking about, a few weeks ago I mentioned procrastination as an issue kind of with regard to our overcoming bad habits and character building. But here, it's a different idea. Here it's the idea that is taught so many times in the Torah and in Judaism that we can't look at life as if, I can always do something later, because every now, every minute, certainly every day, presents itself with unique opportunities to sanctify that day, to elevate that day, that moment of life. We kind of think of time as just a continuous thing, but really the Torah in many places tries to clue us into the fact that our days are discrete, and we have to grab every day, and really every minute, every hour, and so on. But what do I mean? I'll give you an example. There's not this week's Torah portion, but when Abraham was getting on in years, it says, now Avram was old. They translate English here, well on in years, but the Hebrew is more revealing. Ba bayamim, coming with days. He was very old. So it describes his elderly time as coming with days. And then actually when he passes away, it says, and these are the days of the years of Avram's life. And this is telling us that talking that Avram Avinu didn't waste a day. Every one of his days was elevated, sanctified, used to serve God. And when he died, every one of those days was worthy of being accompanying him to his eternal reward. Every day was illuminated and elevated and sanctified. We see it in the Shema, for instance, not with the word, yes, with the word day. And it says, you'll love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Right after the hero Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one, the very watchword of our faith. And it says, and these words which I command you today shall be upon your heart. It means every day, today, right now, I should live by those words, by the values of the Torah, with the ultimate level of loving God and realizing that this whole world is an expression of God's oneness, of God's unity. Today, and if not now, not, okay, I'll get to it tomorrow. No, if not now, never. The now has been lost. You'll have a chance, God willing, tomorrow. You'll wake up tomorrow. You can sanctify tomorrow. That will be a new now. But if it's not now, you lost that now, that minute, that day. I lost last week's Rabbi E in 3. It's a shame. It's a shame. But I can't cry over lost videos. We got to do a video now, and that's what I'm doing now. If not now, never. Think about that, because that can overcome inertia, maybe, and realize not just the preciousness of every day, that's a cliche anyway, but the uniqueness of every day as an opportunity and a challenge. And if we miss it, a rebuke, not to feel guilty over, but to take advantage of the next time, to sanctify the now. If not now, never. The great Rabbi Hillel of old has part of an aphorism, he says, in the book called Ethics of Our Fathers. He says, if not now, when? He meant, if not now, never. Maybe pedagogically, he thought it was more effective or intriguing to say when. But implicitly, if you study that Mishnah, you know he means, if not now, never. You missed the chance. You missed this day to love God, to sanctify God, to do a kindness for your fellow man or whatever. And it's connected to Passover. That's my last thing before I fade out for hopefully until next week. A fascinating thing, when God took us out of Egypt, the night of the Exodus, God commands the Jewish people to eat the Passover offering that they slaughtered on the afternoon of the 14th of Nisan, before God was going to take them out of Egypt. Eat this meal, the first Passover Seder, if you will, in Egypt. Eat it, your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. You shall eat it in haste. for it is a Pesach offering to Hashem. Why? I know they were leaving later on that night or the next morning, but why did they have to eat the meal in haste? It wasn't yet time to get out of there. They were rushed out in haste, but not at the meal. But the commentaries say because that was the lesson of how we were being taken out taken out of Egypt to be God's people. We had to realize you have to seize the now. When you're serving God, when you're doing commandments, you have to observe the now. We say it in the Haggadah. We say if the Holy One, blessed be He, had not taken us out of Egypt, we would still be slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. Why? It would have happened naturally. No. There was one moment when God waited till the last possible moment to take us out. We were very, very spiritually inundated and overwhelmed and darkened by our time in Israel. Egypt. We had to leave then or it wasn't going to happen. And that's the lesson of the Exodus. It's the lesson of all of Judaism, to sanctify the now. If not now, never. Make it count now. Have a great Shabbos.